Thank you for tuning in again. This is episode 13. I just got finished doing episode 12, and I actually found the full video because the one that I had was only 15 minutes. But I went and found it, and we're gonna together watch this. This is, as you can tell on the screen, a LumaCorp introduction video. The initiation for the Illuminati. Is it real? Is it fake? Social experiment? I don't know, but let's jump into it. But before we do, I'd like to thank every one of you for watching my content, liking my content, subscribing to my content, and clicking that bell for my content. You guys are awesome. You gals are awesome. Everybody is awesome. So I want to thank you personally because without your devotion to watch my content, I would not be making it. So I'm doing this weird accent. I have no idea, but I totally love it. It's awesome. And I'm a big Doctor Who fan. Besides the fact of that, let's get back to the video. All right, come on. Here we go. Let's get our mind. Blow your mind, man, tripper. Do not watch this film if you rely on a rigid belief system. Give your life a false sense of security, and I didn't read that all in world yet. Welcome to Illumicorp. Your soul is ours.
Hello, initiates, and welcome to the Illumicorp video training course.
Why
I
does
would
it?
like to officially welcome you as a member
It's
of
in
the team.
HD?
You've joined our organization at perhaps the most
Yeah.
exciting point in our long history.
It is a
Our
really old
founders
video.
shared a passionate dream to transform this country and eventually the whole world into one cohesive organization. When Illumicorp finishes gaining centralized control over the resources of the planet, and we will, we can then organize, distribute, and govern for the benefit of all. After competition and dissent are eliminated, we will build a utopia for the people of the world to share based on need and rejoice together in a harmonious new world. This presentation is designed to enlighten you about our organization's goals and achievements. As your guide, I will help to answer some basic questions you might have about Illumicorp and familiarize you with the valuable role you will play in helping us reach our prime objective. So please, take a tour with me as we march together towards an exciting new world. All people are aware of class. To them, society is made up of the rich, the middle, and the poor.
The one thing that all three classes don't understand is that the pyramid continues upward. There is a detached hidden capstone made up of an elite board of directors who own and manage Illumicorp. The three classes below, in essence, become the assets and resources of Illumicorp. Illumicorp is divided into various administrative branches, but each branch has the same 5 levels in their hierarchy. You will begin at the bottom, in the initiate category. As such, your role will be to make sure that your orders are carried out through the sub-corporations and institutions controlled by Illumicorp.
You will be placed in plain sight, at the head of a company or institution in the public sector, to carry out the plans delivered from above. Remember, your role is very important. You will be the face of Illumicorp to the outside world. You are our connection to the masses below. Never speak publicly about your orders or your masters. Now let's look at Illumicorp's 6 administrative branches and their functions. You will be placed in a top position of power among one of the following sectors. In this way, as you are monitored and guided from above, you will decide strategy and introduce programs that further our goals. For that is the secret to Illumicorp's success. Control the head, and you control the body. This is potentially
True.
Illumicorp's most effective instrument for global control. Through international banking, we manipulate the fate of all countries. We have introduced many institutions, such as the IMF and WTO, that work in our favor to impoverish disobedient nations. Always remember, debt is a powerful weapon against countries that don't share Illumicorp's vision.
There you go.
Perhaps our greatest achievement in banking is the Federal Reserve System. It is a collection of international banks owned by Illumicorp members and financiers. It was created to form a centralized banking system through the Federal Reserve Act of 1913, an act that was indeed penned by some of our most esteemed members.
And they do that Fed pay
Many
now.
of you might
Go
still
figure.
assume that the government itself prints and issues the currency. That is not the case. When America needs money, they go to our boys and ask for it. The money is printed, but it is only representative of a loan. Interest accrues on that dollar until it is paid back to the Fed. In fact, the federal taxes paid by the American population go almost entirely to paying off this debt. So you see, Illumicorp derives a healthy amount of its operation funding directly from the debt of the public. Needless to say, this is one of our most crucial sources of funding and one of our proudest achievements here at Illumicorp. Through mergers and acquisitions, we have slowly and silently bought up the majority of U.S. industry. Illumicorp and its members own most of the oil, transport, banking, media, food and communications industries in America and abroad. Through fewer and fewer conglomerates, we are able to effect with great precision the machinations of labor and government.
Ultimately, corporations will replace government as a centralized international body that can meet the needs of the public worldwide without the chaos created by national self-interest. When Illumicorp goes public, corporatism will be the foundation for world government. Conglomerates will merge into one cohesive corporation that is responsible only to Illumicorp and the needs of its global employment force. Illumicorp's control of the American military is another impressive tool in our possession. We have nurtured these institutions lavishly to serve as the prototype for our global police force. When ready, our technology and manpower will dominate those who oppose the coming new world order.
By utilizing American patriotism, we have fostered in the American soldier the philosophy of peace through superior force. When the time is right, we will migrate that mentality towards the belief in a global government who must protect all people through superior force. We have used the American military-industrial complex to build the arsenal necessary to instigate the final cleansing outlined in Illumicorp's Great Plan. Our primary target will be Islamic nations who will never submit to our Western-centric domination. They also hold much of the
And what are we doing now
reserve of the
to them?
planet.
Right?
Illumicorp must own that precious resource, as it is crucial in maintaining our domination over the countries of the world.
Through Illumicorp's enormous federal funding of the military, we can develop new forms of warfare and population reduction. The public can't imagine what we were in the process of developing. Soon, even the weather will be a weapon under our control.
All this is happening now, you know that, right? Everything he's saying.
Floods, hurricanes, and even tsunamis with no fingerprints attached. The political system of America has been under direct control of Illumicorp for some time. It was actually a relatively easy acquisition, and has been even easier to manage. Politicians know of our unspoken agreement, and will do anything to stay in power.
A two-party system benefits Illumicorp, in that it reduces all issues into a black and white debate. Through media, we can play side against side, using each where necessary to support our goals. Due to a diminishing faith in the system among the public, Illumicorp has designed a rogue candidate program to provide a voice for the dispossessed. This disperses the impetus for dissent among those who do not feel represented by our candidates and builds a database of potential dissidents.
At the turn of the last century, Illumicorp took a serious interest in public education. Our Supreme Council realized that by creating a private organization to dictate curriculum on a federal level, children could be conditioned into obedience on a mass scale.
In the interest of promoting Illumicorp principles in the classroom, hundreds of millions of dollars were invested to create the General Education Board in 1902. The result of doing this is evident today. The doctrines of public education have transformed recent generations into a weaker, more docile mass. Through meticulously planned curriculum,
And what he's saying right now, they're taking books away. I remember watching a YouTube video where they had massive boxes, like huge, like up to your chest, huge. All the books about history and everything that basically let you know the right and the wrong and why it was, and they're taking it all away. Well, everything from all the past wars we had that we learned from so we don't make the same mistakes again. They're taking that away. About the slavery, how it started, how it got better. They're taking that away. They're just making it. They're every generation it gets dumbed down and dumbed down and dumbed down. Like me personally, everything they taught me in school, and I graduated and I went to college. Oh, we taught you was wrong. And I was telling my mom about this, and yeah, they said the same thing to her. It's like, why do that? Why have people go to school for years if you're going to sit there, feed them the truth, and then when things are, hey, it's not going for the government, great, because they're knowing the truths about us and everything else. So let's go ahead and dumb them down, make them more stupid and more docile, so we can control them and do whatever we want, and they're just be dumb and do it. Stupid is what stupid does. You know what I'm saying? So, like, what the hell? Okay, this is crazy. I mean, everything that this man is saying, and this is old. This video is super old, dude. Like 90s old. If I remember correctly, late 90s, early 2000s, something like that. It's old. Before, anyway, let me stop my app and let's get back to this video. It's crazy, man. Crazy, crazy.
we have control over the process by which the average child learns. Thus, we can mold them into obedient workers who are conditioned to accept the implementation of the Great Plan. In addition, Illumicorp has set up many associations, including the American Historical Association, that determine and uphold the official view of history. Knowledge is power, so we must at all costs be the authors of the truth. By writing history to suit our interests, dissenting voices cannot gain ground, and we can vastly influence culture to achieve our prime objective.
Illumicorp uses the media to shape the public's opinion about current events and condition desired attitudes about our future agenda. Through news, entertainment, and advertising, we can program a variety of emotions and responses into the collective unconscious.
In the past, we were limited entirely to print media, but now we have multiple mediums to utilize in programming and conditioning the masses. With cable news, we have directed the public to a more entertainment-based consumption of world events, infotainment. This medium is far more effective at subliminal reinforcement of desired attitudes towards our objectives. For instance, we are
You already
currently
know what I'm gonna
instilling a
say.
sense of duty towards environmental issues.
With our growing control of the weather through HARP and chemtrails, we will scare the public into accepting our global protection agendas. We will then phase into the great cleansing which must occur
Cloud
as we
machines we
turn the
got
global
making
population
clouds,
into
controlling the weather. We're
manageable
already doing all
size.
this. We've been doing it. HARP.
We
I live right by a
reinforce
HARP
the
in
desired
Alaska.
norm through advertising, creating a model for people to live up to that is virtually impossible. The result is an incomplete, desperate individual seeking acceptance. Through reality television game shows, we repeat the pattern of individual survival versus group survival. This breaks down the idea of community and breeds individuals who seek only their self-interest. With a public that is constantly suspicious and scheming, we maintain the status quo of a divided population that never thinks to look up.
Religion has served its purpose incredibly well. It is the oldest and perhaps the broadest form of social control utilized by Illumicorp.
I always felt
With
this.
religion, there is a written code of conduct that must be followed. The authors of the Holy Scriptures knew quite well how to lace that code with commands to maintain their dominance over the population. This system has survived through millennia to hold the flock together and bring us to today.
Admittedly, religion is losing its power for control. However, the fanaticism that has arisen due to this decline is particularly helpful to Illumicorp. Our invisible influence in the church has helped bring the Christian fundamentalists out of the background. We control their opinions on current issues through policies designed and written right here at Illumicorp headquarters. They are sent to our ministers, who then preach the Word of God and their interpretations of the Bible to their followers. Their blind faith is used to transform them into willing soldiers to defend our cause during the catastrophes ahead. As the final phase is enacted, we will propagate end-time prophecy to convince them of their convictions.
The rise of Islamic fundamentalism works to Illumicorp's advantage as a threat that will demand violent action. In the coming years, planned terrorist attacks will warrant a full-scale retaliation and initiate the final phase of the Great Plan. Christians will support our actions, since they will believe them to be proof of the end times prophesied by Illumicorp's religious leaders.
There's more.
Now that you have a basic understanding of how we work over here at Illumicorp, I would like to introduce you to one of our latest projects, the Control Grid. Since ancient times, it has been the desire of the Illuminati to wield control of the masses below, both to protect us from them and them from themselves. The tools through the ages have been effective, but always blunt and inaccurate. But now, with the release of new technology to the masses, we have the real ability to implement a control grid with finance, industry, government, and military under our strict control. We can safely ship the population into a new world, monitored and controlled by Illumicorp.
Technology such as the internet, GPS, and RFID chips are pillars of the invisible prison we are erecting around the people. Within the decade, we will have real ID cards that contain criminal records and pertinent information, all linked to federal databases. Cell phones will tell us where each individual is, linked to the same database. Through intelligence agencies and Homeland Security, we will monitor individuals who oppose the Great Plan and remove them from the grid. Quickly, the population will learn that they have a choice: support the system and benefit from its luxuries, or reject it and lose access to the grid.
Well, that was quite an overview. I hope it gave you an understanding
Say,
of our
yeah.
process and basic overall structure here at Illumicorp. The dawn of a new era is on the horizon, and it will shine gloriously over the new world that we have built together.
True, man. What's next?
Many of the United States presidents have blood relations with each other. The Bush lineage has blood ties to a great number of former presidents: George Washington, Millard Fillmore, Franklin Pierce, Abraham Lincoln, Ulysses Grant, Rutherford Hayes, James Garfield, Grover Cleveland, Teddy Roosevelt, William Taft, Calvin Coolidge, Herbert Hoover, Franklin Roosevelt, Richard Nixon, and Gerald Ford. Michael Tessarion points out in his work that Bush is closely related to every European monarch on and off the throne, and has kinship with every member of Britain's royal family. Bush's family tree can be documented as far back as the early 15th century. He has a direct descent from Henry III and from Henry VIII's sister Mary Tudor.
Wow.
He is also
I
descended
didn't know
from
that.
Charles II of England. And we also find that George W. Bush is a direct descendant of Godfrey the Bullion. Godfrey was the first king of Jerusalem after he recaptured it from the Saracens, which was the name for the Islamic faith during the Middle Ages, It is interesting to note that the current occupation of the United States in the Middle East was re-established by the same family, George Bush Sr. in 1991, and again by George Bush Jr. in 2003. George Bush Jr. is then found to be a cousin to both opposing candidates of his 2 terms in office, Al Gore and John Kerry. Democratic President Barack Obama also has blood ties with George W. Bush, as well as Gerald Ford, Lyndon Johnson, Harry Truman, James Madison, and the British Prime Minister Sir Winston Churchill. On the opposing side of the 2008 presidential ballot, John McCain is descended from Robert the Bruce, King William I of Scotland, and also Godfrey the Bullion.
This had to be added to that video because all this wasn't on here before, so they added it to help educate us.
So you're for Barack Obama? No, but I thought I should admit this fact as evidence that maybe I'm not completely objective about Mrs. Clinton.
Now that we know Vice President Dick Cheney and Senator Barack Obama are distant cousins, the New York Post decided to check into the genealogy of President Bush, and his family tree has people talking.
Check out this family tree, done with research by Ancestry.com.
What would you say if I told you he's related to all of those people?
But you're wrong.
Oh, no, I'm not. Let me take you through this, branch by branch. Vice President Dick Cheney, the man who's only a heartbeat away from the presidency, is actually a blood relation. He's President Bush's 9th cousin once removed. Cheney's cousin Barack Obama is also Bush's 11th cousin. President Lincoln was President Bush's 7th cousin 5 times removed, and Bush shared more than just a ballot with John Kerry. That's right, they're 9th cousins twice removed. There's also royalty in the Bush bloodline. Princess Diana was Bush's 11th cousin twice removed.
You were both in Skull and
Miss her,
Bones,
man.
secret
It's a
society.
shame she's dead.
So sick that we can't talk to her. What does that mean for America? The conspiracy theorists are going to go wild.
I'm sure they are. I don't know. I haven't seen the web.
Number 322.
You both were members of Skull and Bones.
Couldn't say anything, stuttered.
What does that tell us? Not much, because it's a secret. Is there a secret handshake? Is there a secret code? I wish there were something secret I could manifest. 322, secret number? There are all kinds of secrets, Tim, but one thing is not a secret. I disagree with this president's direction that he's taking the country. We can do a better job, and I intend to do it. And we'll be watching. Be safe on the campaign trail. John Kerry, thanks for joining us. And we'll be right back.
Dude, I'm gonna start reading this. The other one, when I tried to read it, was too fast. Just a society whose foundation is fear, apathy, and hatred sets up a system which fundamentally, you see, that represents individual development and mentions the cyclical behavior patterns and superiority and inferiority and the classes. It's a society founded by. I gotta read faster.
But these oppressive tyrants that are demonized by the masses are no different than us. In fact, they are one with us. In the book The Prophet by Khalil Gibran, he poetically states, I say, as the holy and the righteous cannot rise beyond the highest which is in each of you, so the wicked and the weak cannot fall lower than the lowest which is in you also. Every one of us has the capability to commit the most horrifying sin, or show the most beautiful compassion to our fellow man. This is the very definition of an illness within the psyche and soul of man.
It's against their flesh and the blood, but against the principalities, against the powers, against the rulers in the darkness of this world, against the spiritual wickedness of the highest.
You heard Lynn talk about giving President Obama one of Gracie's pictures. She gave me the same picture, a Xerox copy of it. This is an owl that Grace had drawn, and President Obama said that he would cherish it, and I'm certainly going to frame this and cherish it as well.
And this is all added to it. I like owls, man. I'm sorry. They're awesome. I want one. Bohemian Club of San Francisco. Leaving spiders. Also found an owl and symbol in the El Real. Yes, hiding on the top right side. In fact, Washington, D.C. was designed in the honor of the owl, that you will now find the owl in the Library of Congress as well as in the Capitol and in many other places. Like Harry Potter. Love that movie. But that's not the importance of this moment. Oh, well, oh yeah,
George
my
Bush
man.
takes his
Anyway,
inspiration from what he learned in Skull
sorry.
and Bones and from the Thule Society
Need my
that Hitler and
glasses.
Goebbels and Goring cut their teeth in, Bohemian Grove, these evil organizations that perpetrate the ugly things that these criminals are doing to this country for which they must be held accountable.
They are the most
He
violent,
does not look happy.
dirtiest people on the face of the earth. Somewhere, Americans are going to have to take their country back and start finding out who are these people. Who are these people we call our
Wow, now I want to be looking at everybody's
representatives?
hands.
The Bushes. George Bush, the president, his father, went around the country talking about a new world order. The people who are running this country from behind the scenes do not care a thing about Americans or bloodshed anywhere.
Average citizen in any governed country could find and convince that the leaders may consistently have evil in their hearts. In 1776, our leadership, U.S. government, has been consistently moving us toward the Luciferic New World Order, and leadership was always been working through the secret societies. Almost. These glasses right here. A puddle. Yep, there's one right in Alaska. Not too far where I was.
Insect-borne diseases such as malaria will explode. Where it's dry, it's likely to become much drier.
We're likely to see hundreds of millions of what we'll call environmental refugees.
It has the potential to escalate into the largest global catastrophe mankind has ever known.
Climate change could take on a life of its own, and global warming would become a runaway train.
We'll have 8 degrees, will be 8 degrees hotter, and basically none of the crops will grow. Most of the people will have died, and the rest of us will be cannibals. Civilization will have broken down.
Existence of our civilization is threatened by
An immediate threat to life as we know it.
And while you were sleeping. When they got that going now. Which side are you on? The chosen few. What movie is this? say where it's scanned, and what they got the whole thing with the hand now. I just watched a video on YouTube, and a woman's like, "Oh my God, it's so cool! I can scan my hand." You can understand, man. I mean, there's gonna be a cashless society. We're gonna be a cashless society. It's not a matter of if; it's a matter of when. To have complete control over everything you have. Mark my words. Pause it real quick. Think about it. How many of us get direct deposit? Me. How many of us actually keep cash in our pocket? Once in a blue, great while, just in case I happen to be broke because, I ain't got nothing. But I mean, come on now. Think about it, dude. Seriously. It's gonna happen quicker than you think, and it's gonna happen in our lifetime. If not us, for sure our kids, but I'm like 85, 90% sure it's happening in this lifetime for us. All right, let's go. Riots, it's all going on. Always going on. Just more now. With every weapon of the state turned against us. How long can we resist? I gotta find this movie. If anybody knows what this movie is, put it in the description. That description, like comment it, so I can look for it. The Second American Revolution may not be remembered.
Last night I dreamt about how things were. And then I woke up here.
It's just Gray State. Gray State. Gray State. I gotta Google that. All right. A Gray State. It's 2017. This documentary. It's an hour and 13 minutes. So if you go on Google and you Google the Grave State, what I don't know how it's gonna be over there. Kind of get a gist of it, but Google it. We got to check it out. All right. So, all right, no, stop. All right, that's back. I would like to thank you guys for taking the time out of your day to watch this again. This is a very interesting one. The beginning when they were start with like the initiation of it for the Illuminati of Lumacorp and the Illuminati. That's an older video. It's older than the stuff that was added to it, from what I recall. But it's really good that they kept that and they added to it. If you go and on Google, and this is how I found the longer version of the video, because I was actually doing a recording before this. It was only 15 minutes, and I thought it was longer, and it was right. Just Google Illumacorp uh, initiation video. It's be around the top area, and when you click on it, you'll see the video there. So if you want to watch on there, it looks like it might be better quality, but I clicked on the video and it took me here, so I'm not sure. Uh, I'm not gonna do another video today. I'm gonna post both of these today. Episode 13 and 14, or was it 11 I did last time? 12. Well, the next two, let's see the numbers on there. But I said but again. I appreciate you guys. You have a great Friday. Have a great weekend. And I will see you soon with some more great content. Mind Trippa signing out. Peace.